Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Faster Way podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Tress, founder and CEO of the Faster Way. I am here today with a coach confessional, and joining me is, drum roll, please, who is with me?
It's Brandon.
It's Brandon. So there is a reason that Brandon is with me for this coach confessional. There's also a reason that the audio isn't quite as crisp and clear as usual. We are in an evacuation currently. We are in Georgia, and unfortunately missed last week's podcast drop. And I didn't want to miss another podcast drop. So we're just going to do a bit of a coach confessional, kind of share some updates, share what's been going on for the past 2 weeks, and maybe drop some lessons and some tidbits at the end as well. So I hope you enjoy this episode. So here's the deal. You just heard that we are currently evacuated. The last 2 weeks have been quite an adventure.
Yeah.
That's the most positive way to say it. We have dealt with two major hurricanes at the Faster Way to Fat Less headquarters in Tampa Bay, Florida. The first one snuck up on us a little bit, and I'm going to share about that. And then I'll just, again, kind of give you a bit of a recap of what's gone on over the past 2 weeks. It's been, an adventure. It's been also very exciting. There are some ups, there are some downs. There have been some good lessons that come out of it. So, Hurricane Helene was the first major hurricane that hit the Tampa Bay area. And this one was kind of interesting. And again, I have Brandon here. Brandon, I don't know how much you really want to chime in, so just cut me off when you want to. So we were in Dallas, Texas,
Mhm.
the week leading up to Hurricane Helene. I was speaking at a conference for executives in the direct selling or network marketing channel. Now, Faster Way to Fat Loss is not a direct selling or network marketing or multi-level marketing company. We are actually an affiliate model with a certification. However, I was speaking at this conference just to share about how we empower our coaches to market with excellence and just a little bit more about the Faster Way. And as I was at the conference, I was hearing about a potential hurricane hitting Florida. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon, it really looked like it was going to hit the panhandle,
Right.
the Big Bend area, the panhandle. We are in Tampa Bay, so we're on that west coast. But you
Yeah,
were
all the models are pointing away from us, and they were
yeah,
all in agreement.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were in agreement. You were watching the weather more closely than I was.
Yeah.
And we were hearing weathermen in our area say, this is not our storm. This is not our storm. I think Monday of that week, Monday evening, watched the weather forecast, and the weatherman that everyone follows, he had a female co-host on, and they were just telling stories and making jokes. And he was saying, it's not going to be a big deal. We are not going to get hurricane force winds in
Mm.
Tampa, blah, blah, blah. We were supposed to stay until Wednesday night at this conference until the conference wrapped up, but we did end up deciding to leave Wednesday morning. So we knew there was a hurricane coming. We decided to leave a little bit early. Um, not super, super early, but we left Wednesday morning, got home, and really we're still hearing the same theme. And although there was a voluntary evacuation in zone A, which is our zone, we
Mhm.
didn't evacuate. And it
Right.
was voluntary, correct? Or was it
I
mandatory?
think mandatory, but only for A and nothing for B and C.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
was mandatory for our island. We have a home on an island in Tampa Bay. We're kind of like the westernmost tip of Tampa Bay, if you've ever seen a map of like the Clearwater, St. Pete area. So apparently it was a mandatory evacuation, but I have to say, I don't know anyone who evacuated.
No.
I have a single friend who evacuated, but she tends to get a little bit more nervous than most people, and she really was just going to Disney for, a family trip, so it wasn't even
No.
an evacuation as much. None of our neighbors evacuated, no one on my team evacuated at all whatsoever. The team, we did take the day off from the office on Thursday, I believe, so kind of all day Thursday we were texting each other. It was barely sprinkling outside. It was a little bit windy, but we were all saying, what a joke. This is
Yeah.
not our storm. We'll pray for the Big Bend. And we were watching because, of course, you don't want anyone to get hit hard. 5 o'clock rolls around, 6 o'clock rolls around, 7 o'clock rolls around, and all of a sudden, when the rain was scheduled to stop,
Yeah.
it started to pick up.
Mhm.
So I'd kind of been watching the rain forecast. It was supposed to stop around 7 p.m. And all of a sudden at 7, there was a shift. Like there was a definite shift.
Mhm.
And you could kind of tell, like, okay, you don't worry about what the models say or the weathermen say. You just look out your door.
Yeah.
You literally just walk outside and you notice that there's been a bit of a shift. And
Mm.
now the storm appears to be closer. So 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, by 9 o'clock, it was really picking up. It
Yeah.
was windy. We had been told the storm was 150 miles offshore. We're outside. I go to the house. We have a guest house across the street on the island that we were scheduled to sell the week of Helene, and it was delayed. And then consequently, we were scheduled to sell it this week. It was delayed. So still
Up in
hoping
the air.
hoping to sell that house. But our boat's at that house. So I walked over across the street. And by the time I got across the street around 9 p.m., to tie the boat up a little bit more securely because we could tell the surge was beginning to rise, it was too late. So we
Yeah.
got over there. The water was already at least a foot over the dock, which
Right.
we just replaced because last year it was destroyed in one of the storms.
Mhm.
Just replaced it a few months ago, the dock. By the time we got over there, it was now too late. So we are
Not just
watching
calm water. I mean, it's waves and yeah, flowing. Yeah.
wind, rain, waves. So we are now watching the water rise above the seawall on the island, which actually has never happened
Mhm.
before. So our island has been built on, developed since
Late
probably,
80s.
yeah, the
Yeah.
late 80s.
35 years, so.
In 35 years. Wasn't it like the year you were born?
Yeah.
I think so. Brandon's just turned 37.
Mhm.
So it's a 37-year-old island. Never ever has flooded. Never ever has the water gone above the seawall, and all of a sudden it's coming above the seawall. The water's going into the pools at both houses, and my neighbors are starting to call. And we're all kind of like outside in the wind and the rain trying to figure out, like, how bad is this thing gonna get?
Mhm.
I'm watching my neighbor's boat just bounce around like a toy
Yeah.
because the surge has now lifted the boat off the lift. And we are right next to the marina as well. 50% of the boats are kind of banging around,
Yeah.
which was not good. And so, 9:30 rolls around, 10 o'clock rolls around, and now the tide is going up. So not only is the surge going up, but the tide is going up. And in fact, it had been the lowest tide of the day in the evening. And so at that point, we kind of all realized, like, this is not good. I'm hearing from some team members who a couple hours earlier had been like, what a joke. It's not our storm, da, da, are going, there's water coming in my house. I have to go. I have
Yeah.
to leave. And they're getting out within minutes of not being able to get out of their homes. Their neighbors are literally, in some cases, one of my employees, his neighbor was like on a mattress with their 2-year-old, just like kind of trying to survive through the water coming to the house. And now,
Floating on the map.
yeah, floating on the mattress. So, I mean, it was like all of a sudden we went from kind of joking around to like, this is major, this is serious.
Right.
So, next morning, wake up. The worst of it was between 11 p.m. and about 2 or 3 a.m., which this happens to us every time we're told, oh, it's going to hit during the day. Da, da.
Yeah.
No, it hits overnight. This is what always happens to us. So you don't get any sleep,
Mhm.
wake up. I'm still under the perspective that, like, the Big Bend must have gotten it the worst.
Mm.
Like, I still, even at 7 in the morning, as I'm walking around and surveying the damage and seeing like 50% of the boats and the lifts and the dock in the marina are just there. We had boats on the grass, we had boats on the concrete. I mean, the
All tipped
the
over.
dock
Yeah.
is just completely ruined, docks all over that. I'm getting texts from employees that their houses are a complete loss, totally underwater. But I'm still like, man, it must be really, really bad in the Big Bend. So I posted a little update and said, pray for the Big Bend, not realizing that our area was hit harder than we've ever been,
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah, with
Truly.
surge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the surge. So, kind of through the day, the following day, even Sunday, we are becoming aware of how bad this thing really was. And team members are able to now get to their houses. Some were trapped for days, in a house on a barrier island or a finger or a condo, and their cars are ruined and can't get out. So, it was just extremely destructive. St. Pete Beach, I think, had feet of sand
Yeah.
washed up on certain
Yeah, they
roads
said
and
almost like 6 feet in some areas.
almost 6 feet of sand. I mean, that is insane. And so, through the weekend, we were just trying to extend help. We did run a shop sale on Sunday of that week for donations. Anyone who donated, or anyone who purchased, we ended up donating the gross profits actually to people in need. We were able to help one of our employees quite substantially. And also then I haven't even mentioned a few people in Asheville. So Asheville was hit extremely hard and is still in the thick of recovery. I mean, it is like very, very, very serious. If you haven't heard or seen the news from Asheville, what we're hearing from our coaches, clients, and friends there, it's just horrendous. Just very, very sad, very dire in Asheville. So, we're still doing our best to help people there in Asheville. Many, many, many still out of power. The roads were just completely destroyed,
Washed away, yeah.
completely washed away because Helene was a very big system, and Asheville, they were not prepared because, like us, they were told, "Oh, it's going to hit Georgia." But I mean, what do you even really do? If you're in Asheville, how do you even prepare? What are you going to do? Tie down the trees? Like
Yeah,
you're in the forest. Like there's not a whole lot you can do.
yeah.
So Asheville was hit very hard. We have, quite a few faster way family members there. So that's been very serious. So that was Helene.
Yep.
Worst our area has been hit in many years. And we did have a death toll because we just were not prepared. We were not told that it was going to be a big deal. I think if they had evacuated the B and the C zones, people would have taken it a little bit more serious. So we'll kind of get into that with Milton.
Mhm.
But that, was Helene. We've had employees out of the office since Helene. So
Mhm.
haven't even come back since Helene because still kind of, trying to
Right,
get
trying to
back on
figure out
their
their
feet,
life.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out where they're going to live and this and that. The following week, we had also a very interesting development in our industry, which I'll quickly, briefly touch on. So, had the hurricane, and then Monday, following the Thursday hurricane, we found out that a pretty big company in our industry called Beachbody, which is the makers of P90X and Insanity, they shut down their coaching arm. So they had different ways to generate revenue and sales for the company. One was through a network marketing or multi-level marketing model with many, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of coaches. And then the other was just with PPC, with direct to consumer customer acquisition model. And what they decided to do, because they've been declining now for a series of years and ended up doing the SPAC, which SPACs are now out of favor, and really had to, kind of throw a Hail Mary to save the brand and to, keep the shareholders happy. They decided to do away with the coaching side, and it was a complete shock to the coaches, the Beachbody coaches. I personally wasn't shocked simply because this year, even just in the past 6 months, we've seen multiple companies in the direct selling channel eliminate their network marketing model. Rodan and Fields is a brand many of you have heard of. They completely eliminated the network marketing side. Beauty Counter is another one. They went under, and now Beachbody, and this is representing millions and millions of reps or coaches all over
Mhm.
the world, even just these three companies. And so, I had 2 or 3 weeks ago gotten a group of faster weight coaches together who were formerly with Beachbody for the very first time ever. I got them together and I said, "Hey, I've always believed that there's room in the marketplace for everyone, and I have an abundance mentality. However, I'm just feeling like there's going to be an opportunity for us to serve Beachbody coaches. And so again, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, very first time I got Beachbody coaches who are now faster weight coaches on a Zoom call. And I'm like, let's just like talk out loud. Let's brainstorm. Let's strategize how we can serve body coaches. And
Yeah.
days later, this info came down the pike. So that was just really interesting. So, I Monday posted the Monday that the news came out because I too was a Beachbody coach for a very brief amount of time. About a decade ago, I posted and just offered, some advice and hopefully a few encouraging words. And then immediately we started getting inbound requests from Beachbody coaches regarding our faster way certification. Because really, when you survey the marketplace, we are the best opportunity for Beachbody coaches who were rock star coaches. When it comes to fitness industry opportunities for revenue and for plugging in with the best programming, best platform, it's us.
Yeah.
It's faster way. So Monday night, Tuesday started getting inbound requests, quickly did some info calls even that week. As we just look to serve this community, the Beachbody community, and we've had the opportunity to do a couple calls since, and we've brought over several top coaches. And even just this past like 2 days ago, I did a call with about 284 Beachbody coaches signed up. So it's been, an exciting opportunity for us to help to extend an even better future for these gals and guys. So I'm definitely, grateful for that opportunity. So then let's talk about Mexico City Leg Day.
Yep, that was in there too.
Yeah, we left
So that was Monday, and then we left on Friday for
Friday.
Mexico.
We were supposed to leave Thursday, delayed till Friday, left for Mexico City for our very first international leg day. So exciting. So, Brandon, talk a little bit about your experience in Mexico City, the food, the people, just share kind of your opinion of it. And then
Yeah.
I'll share a couple things.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Mexico City is at a high altitude. It's like higher than Colorado.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So at first it was definitely hard to breathe walking around.
Yeah.
But it was great. Yeah, the clients were so excited to see us. It was such a welcoming atmosphere and amazing food.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had great food there. We had a great brunch with the coaches after the event. So yeah.
Yeah, the people,
Yeah.
I cannot say enough about our coaches and clients in Ciudad de Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, so passionate, so enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, I wasn't feeling great. It had just been, that week with the hurricane and then the altitude. We were supposed to do a little dinner with some of the coaches and I had to cancel it. I just needed to like sleep. So I think I was in my PJs by like 7:30. I'm not even kidding. But the day of, the workout was great. I was worried because of the altitude. It hadn't even crossed my mind. I never knew that was going to be a consideration. And Friday, yes, just walking up the stairs, I was like, "Whew, I'm a little winded." So if you've been to one of our leg days, it is not easy. It's an intense workout. And so I was a little worried, but I'm telling you what, I got through the jump squats. And when I got through those, I was like, okay, I'm
You
good.
can do this.
Yeah, no problem. So got through the workout. The brunch after the workout was to die for. I am a lover of brunch. Brunch is my love language. If you want to make me happy, you take me to brunch. Favorite meal of the day. So we had just the most delicious food. Of course, some leg day treats. We had a particular pan de muerto, I believe it's called, which is a special kind of Mexico City pastry. So that was really delicious. And again, the people. I mean, incredible.
Love hearing their stories.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good, so good. They shared their stories in Spanish. I've learned Spanish over the past several months to an extent. Yeah, estoy muy ocupado, so no practicando todos los días. However, I know enough to listen and say, okay, she means this, that, and the other. And so I could just feel the emotion and then I could go on to the words when they shared, their testimonials in Espanol. So that was wonderful. So we quickly came back because while we were in Mexico City, we were hearing about another hurricane brewing. And this was like Groundhog Day. And I'm like, you are kidding me right
Right.
now. Because we came home early from the Dallas trip
Mhm.
to a hurricane. Now we're hearing about another hurricane. And because we got hit so hard with Helene, it was like, oh, we just cannot take another hard, bad, storm system. So go back home. Sunday, we're kind of like trying to figure out what's happening. Is it going to go south? Is it going to hit us? It's looking like it's just going to hit Tampa Bay direct, which is terrible and awful. Um,
It hasn't happened for 103 years.
hasn't happened. It hasn't hit us direct in so long.
Yeah.
So I have literally a brand new chief marketing officer starting on Monday, flying in from New York. So he still decided to fly in Sunday night. We had Coach Sean, flying in Sunday to film workouts Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So get to the office Monday, and it was not all fun and games like it often is on Monday. It was like, let's get as much stuff done as we can in the shortest amount of period possible, because then it looks like we're going to have to evacuate. We hadn't heard about any mandatory evacuations yet.
Right. But on Sunday, they did cancel school for the whole week.
Ugh, they canceled school for the whole week. My kids have not been at school for so long. If anyone wants to take my kids and homeschool them, since they have learned literally nothing this year, please let me know.
Yeah.
So we Monday by like noon, we're hearing about mandatory evacuations in zones A, B, C. And so
Most of our county.
most of the county, we have 1 million people in our county, if you can believe that. If you're up in the Midwest and you hear this 1 million, you can't even hardly, like, there's no context for that. In like Ohio, we have 1 million people in our county. Okay, so ABC zones are evacuated. I walk around to every single person in the office just to make sure they have a plan. What is your plan? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Where are you going? I literally was like, I'm just going to have to add a couple employees to like whatever I'm doing, because I'm like everyone's mom. So I just assumed, like, let me add a little bit of wiggle room just in case I have to bring a couple employees with me when I
Yeah.
evacuate, in addition to my 5 kids. We were able to get everyone out who needed to get out. Some people, it took, like poor Sean, it took him a while to get home. My new CMO, it took him like 24 hours. It was like awful.
Canceled a bunch of flights on them. Yep.
Canceled tons of flights. So we ended up waiting until Tuesday morning, which was kind of the final chance to evacuate. By that time, typically it's a little bit less crazy on the road because most people kind of panic and go the first day. They're like, okay, mandatory evacuations, we're going to go the first day. So you got like a million people leaving the county and going toward Orlando, going north, some going south to Miami. Because here's the deal, the hurricane went from like a cat 2 to a cat 5 or
Yeah.
something like that in a matter of hours.
Yeah.
And the
Great.
weathermen were flipping out.
Yeah.
They were like, this is a record for a hurricane going from 2 to 5 this fast.
They're like, this is almost mathematically impossible.
They're like, it was so far beyond a cat 5. It was like 190-mile-per-hour winds. Like, it was something like absolutely insane. And so it was just really freaking people out, especially after what we went through with Helene. I was saying for days, this thing is going to go south, because the cold front is like a ridge line for a hurricane. And I knew that there was a cold front. And then Tuesday morning, you could feel the cool air. So I was saying for days, I'm like, this thing's going south. It's going south. It's going to Sarasota. It's going to Fort Myers. Well, we evacuated to Georgia. And I had to tell you guys, watching the path of a hurricane is like the worst thing. And I never, ever want to do this again.
Right.
You just keep refreshing the path, 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You watch the news every 6 hours.
They update the cone.
The level of anxiety, and I don't have anxiety typically. Like, I'm a pretty stress effective individual. The level of anxiety that you feel when you are like, if this thing hits my house, there's no house.
Yeah.
For me
Well,
to
yeah,
come back.
before you leave, it's like, what do you even take?
I took nothing. I literally took nothing. I was like,
Got the passports.
it's everything or nothing. I'm all or nothing. I took nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't really have my ring. My you probably don't know that. My literal wedding ring's at home. I took 0 things because for me, it's like once I start thinking like, what valuables and stuff do I want to take? Then I'm just gonna wanna take it all. So I was like, I just had to throw up my hands and pack my toothbrush, and actually, I forgot my toothbrush, so I had to get one at the hotel, but I just took no things. It's like whatever was on my body and my kids, because really at the end of the day, for me, that is what matters.
Yep.
It's my children, it's their safety, and so any stuff, I just was like, "I'm gonna leave all the stuff behind because it's gonna weigh me down, and I just need to focus on the kids." So we got to Georgia. We watched and watched and watched and watched and waited and waited and waited. The waiting
Yeah.
game is awful. But here's the thing, and I want to talk about this a little bit. So, lesson number 1, if you've made it this far into the podcast, is the power of preparation,
Mhm.
the power and the privilege of preparation. Last year, when we had a hurricane evacuation, I talked about this, the privilege of preparation. We were able to leave. We were able to get to safety. We had the privilege of knowing what was coming, where in many cases, you don't have that privilege. And I want us to think about it from the standpoint of health. We have the ability and opportunity now, today, to prepare. And when it comes to a hurricane, we say you hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Mhm.
And it can translate over to health. We hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. If you were to receive a cancer diagnosis, what are you going to do today in order to prepare? And we have many, many examples in our community today of women, of coaches, of clients, of men who have received cancer diagnoses and they've said, Amanda, the preparation that I had because of faster weight, the strength that I had gained, the health, the energy, it is why I was able to thrive through cancer treatment. It is why I am here today. I have a coach, a friend, Michelle Myers, who was on a call with us this week, who is in Asheville, and she said because of my uh, workouts with Faster Way, I've had the strength to help in my area, to provide aid,
Mm.
to do physical things, to she said, if this would have happened 18 to 24 months ago, I would have been sitting in the tent just helping to organize. I wouldn't have been able to physically
Mm.
help in my community. And so, again, it's the privilege of preparation, and it's that the power of making the decision today that I'm going to prepare, because we don't know what's coming down the pike, but we can say, okay, how do I become the strongest, most energized version of myself, and really focus on preventative wellness? I mean, that's what the fast way is all about. That's what this lifestyle is all about. So, although it was super high anxiety this week and I don't want to have to go through that again, but I probably will have to next year. It
Next week?
or no, stop.
Mm.
There is a little rumor about a hurricane next week. I don't want to talk about it. We're not talking about that.
No.
Um, so thanks for just ruining the mood. Um,
Prepare.
yes, I totally, you made me lose my train of thought. We're talking about, even though, it was a really stressful, highly stressful week, the privilege of preparation is a real thing. And I want us to consider that. And then the second thing that I just want to talk about is the outpouring of support
Mhm.
that I received from our Faster Way community, from our friends, from our neighbors. And this is something that I am very blessed to witness. Okay. This was something that I am so grateful for just as we reflect and look back on it. When Helene came through, I had team members who lost everything, lost their homes, lost their cars. And one of my team members in particular, he said, yeah, we, put out the cat call in our neighborhood, in our community, for someone to help us um, just get things out of the house because everything was underwater and da da da. And he goes, yeah, he goes, this guy came in, huge guy, 6'4", shirtless, probably CrossFit guy. He comes in with these huge fans. He, just starts ripping up carpet. He's just doing and I'm like, that is awesome. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know this guy from anyone." I mean, he's just coming in and helping. Then he's going down the street and just helping everyone he can.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that is the power of community. And what I've witnessed even over the past couple of weeks is no matter your race, no matter your political
Mhm.
affiliation, no matter your economic status, neighbors helping
Yeah.
neighbors, people checking in. I had people checking in with me from all over the country after seeing about Milton on the news. And I just, even though it was, extremely stressful, I felt the support. I could feel the prayers, and it just was extremely powerful. And what we've had in Florida is unity. It is unity. We share a common enemy. The enemy is these horrendous hurricanes and the
Yeah.
damage that they cause. We're not worried about political party. We're not worried about things that just aren't going to unify us. We are, it's really cool to witness. And although I, of course, wish no natural disaster upon anyone ever, um, I wish that everyone could witness and feel what I felt. It's like what makes the country great, what makes the
Mhm.
state great. It's us banding together, working together to protect, to save, to clean up. I mean, that is what it's all about. And so for me, and I'm not going to get emotional. I don't want to, but um it was just a real blessing to feel that and to experience that. You're not going to share anything about that?
Agreed. Well, it was just cool to see even the school and the church coming together.
Mhm.
When they did have school for a couple days, they were collecting supplies, and this cross country team was grabbing stuff.
Yeah.
And then even at first, our friends were taking their boats across the way because people couldn't get out of their house, so taking supplies over to them. It was
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I don't want anyone to go through what we have gone through in Tampa Bay, but I it's like I just wish everyone could feel that because we have so much more in common than people realize. Um, it's everyone wants what's best for the greater good at the end of the day. Okay, a couple more things, just really one more thing. So, I want to talk a little bit about my workout and nutrition routine when I'm going through things like this
Yeah.
because, there's hurricanes in life, whether it's a literal hurricane or something like what happened to these Beachbody coaches, where after many, many years of hard work and dedication, the
Yeah.
rug was pulled right out from under them
Mhm.
with no warning at all. Um, I am very good at listening to my body. And when I'm uber stressed, I don't do HIT. Okay. High intensity interval training. Tuesday, for example, when we evacuated, it wasn't going to be a good day for HIT for me because
Mhm.
that's a lot of additional stress on my body in addition to the emotional stress that I'm already feeling. So I did a light strength workout. Just even kind of shortened it, did a back workout, maybe just 3 or 4 moves. And so for me, that is important. I ended up doing the hit yesterday because now the hurricanes passed. We knew kind of what
That's
was
the big
damaged
yeah,
and oh, by the way, Milton did go south. So how many miles south of us would you say it was?
probably 60 miles.
60 miles south.
Yeah.
Had it been 60 miles north and maintained the level of intensity, there would be no Tampa Bay to come back to.
Right.
And I'm not being
Mhm.
over dramatic here. There wouldn't be a house to come back to. There
Right.
if the surge would have gone into Tampa Bay again, it would have been extremely disastrous. And so, although our houses are fine, just minor damage, and we probably could have ultimately stayed. It's with this type of situation a better choice to evacuate because you just don't know where it's going
Mhm.
to hit, and the area that it does hit is going to be a very could be deathly
Mhm.
type of storm. So anyway, yesterday, which is I don't know, I can't even keep track of days.
There's
So the day after the hurricane, okay, I did hit. So I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling as stressed anymore. I know the outcome. I'm going to go ahead and do it, kind of catch up on it.
mhm.
And then when it comes to nutrition, so travel is so tough, guys. It's just so tough. What I am doing is my very best to stay gluten free, dairy free. Um, have I been perfect? No. Am I tracking my macros? No. I'm eating until I'm satisfied. I have 2,700 other things on my plate. I'm trying to still run the company and raise the 5 kids with a very limited staff right now. So it's just case in point why we're on here by ourselves. I had multiple things canceled this week. So, um, listen to your body when this type of thing happens, whether it's a challenge in your life or a season, a storm in your life. Do your very best to eat whole food nutrition if you can. But I would say don't stress about macro tracking. Like,
Mhm.
don't stress about, shoot, I missed some reps and sets of my workout. Like, it is okay. It also occurred to me that I could do the Fit Wars workout. So for VIPs who did Fit Wars with us over the summer,
Yeah. Love
had
it.
I not had access to a gym, Fit Wars, absolutely no question, Fit Wars workout. So anyway, this was just a little recap on what's gone on. Hurricane Helene, the Beachbody closure, which has now brought us quite a few Beachbody coaches, which is extremely exciting. We're so grateful for that opportunity to open our arms wide for those particular individuals. Mexico City Leg Day, Ciudad de Mexico, Hurricane Milton, little lesson on preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. And then also what workouts to do when you're stressed, a little strength training workouts, maybe skip that hit. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope that you continue to have a wonderful week, and we'll be coming at you on the podcast again soon. Bye, everyone.